Hello, viewers. Good evening. We are sorry for coming this late. This was supposed to have taken place, I think, about 2 hours earlier than now. But due to some technical issues, we couldn't make it. And so we had to reschedule. Sorry for those who, were disappointed. So we are going to go straight to the discussion now. With me tonight, I have Mr. Akintade. Bros, you want to please quickly introduce yourself?
Good evening, Via. My name is Akintaje Emmanuel.
Okay, so I thought you were going to say more than that about yourself, but then if
Okay,
that
okay, no problem. My name is Akintaje Emmanuel, as I've earlier said. I'm a native of Ado in Ekiti State. Proudly a Yoruba man. You know, I don't have anything, not to be a Yoruba man. I'm very happy because I'm a Yoruba man and I'm proud of my race. I study all my education background also from Ekiti State, my primary, elementary, the high school, and university education, everything within my region, Ekiti State. So I'm a proud Yoruba man. Thank you.
all right, thank you, the proud Yoruba man. All right, so we are here to discuss the issue relating to the agitation. Oduduwa Republic, Oduduwa Republic. That is the agitation. That is the
Yeah.
discussion tonight. So you and I, we've had some personal discussion, and based on our discussion, I have formulated some questions. And first of all, I want you to tell us about why is it that you are so passionate? Because I can see you are very passionate about this cause, and I want you to tell us briefly why are you so passionate about this?
Thank you. I'm very, very passionate about this because of the situation of our country presently. If you look at Nigeria presently, virtually everything is not working. Initially, I was the opinion that Nigeria will be better, Nigeria will be better, Nigeria will be better. Vigorously, physically, morally, spiritually, I pray for Nigeria to be better. But for the past 2 or 3 years, I realized continuous praying for better Nigeria is a mirage. It's as if I'm just deceiving, I'm wasting my time. Why? Everything is not working. This has really taken me to go to some, research about Nigeria, and I realized that if we continue in this way, we will not get anything better out of Nigeria. I'm not causing or I'm not hopeless, but the situation really called for it. If you look at the whole situation, you really know that Nigeria can no longer work. If people don't believe me, I will still say it that Nigeria can no longer work. Those people that will say it's a lie, everything is in the hand of God, I want them now to listen to me with this little logic. Presently, I'm over 40 years. Since I was born, we have been praying for a better Nigeria. And after 40 years of age, I could not see any better Nigeria. So tell me what will change again in the next 40 years. So I don't believe Nigeria can work again. And that is why I will beg or I will advise each and every Yoruba man. If you really believe you are a Yoruba man, this is high time for us to believe that we need our own nation. Nigeria can no longer work. It's not by prayer. We have been praying, and over 40, we have been praying for the past 40 years for a better Nigeria. Up till now, Nigeria still remains, even though it's not even remaining the same, Nigeria is going bad. It is now becoming worse every day. So I don't think it's not even about think Nigeria can no longer work. let us dissolve this nation called Nigeria and let people that want to go, let them go. Bro, I will still tell you, I have a lot of evidence for you to back up why Nigeria will not be okay again. If you look at the beginning of Nigeria, there are a lot of scams, there are a lot of abnormalities, there are a lot of mistakes, there are a lot of errors, which I can refer to as fundamental errors. Errors that are very, very
Okay,
serious.
let me cut you short a little bit. See, if Nigeria is not working, and I think I agree with you that Nigeria is currently not working, okay? But I would advise, what if we, focus our energy on rebuilding what we currently have, okay? Why can't we use this energy to say, okay, we've agreed, a lot of people would agree with you that Nigeria is currently not working. So why don't we start again, rebuild, including everyone that is currently in Nigeria? Why is that one impossible? Why do we have to go the way of Oduduwa Republic? Why do we have to go the way of Biafra? Why can't we rebuild the current Nigeria?
Yeah, that's a very nice question. If it is possible to build Nigeria, that would be the best option for us to do. But building Nigeria again means a lot. Now, let me start with this. I will a little bit digress and go to the Bible. The Bible says, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? The foundation is the problem. So if we want to rebuild Nigeria, we need to go back to the foundation. The foundation has been destroyed. The foundation is faulty. The foundation is the main problem of Nigeria today. Now, if you want to go back to the foundation, if you want to go back, we want to destroy this present Nigeria and rebuild another Nigeria. It is possible, but there are problems. And those problems, they are very, very vital. If those problems can, if there is this problem, if those people that are involved will really agree to this problem, I believe Nigeria will work again. But the question is this: is it possible? You may ask me how and what are the problems. Let me now tell you this. This present Nigeria, there are beneficiaries. Will those beneficiaries allow us to go back? Will those beneficiaries allow, willingly surrender all those things they have been enjoying for the past? Will this set of people allow such? Okay, now let's look at this way. In the beginning, we have our map. Look at the map of Nigeria. Look at the north, look at the east, look at the west. When I was in the elementary school, when we were talking about either geography or elementary science, we talk about 4 cardinal points, which divide the earth into 4 equal parts: the north, the south, the east, and the west. But anybody that is listening to me, try go to Google, search for map of Nigeria during the region period. You will see that the north is virtually by the south. So a lot of things is messed up there. The north is far, far bigger than the entire, too much. The difference was too much. Now from there, so many things were being, I don't know the reason for that. But to me, I believe that so many things from that map was totally wrong. Now, if you want to go back to the foundation, as I earlier said, that the problem was the foundation. Now, those people that have been beneficiary of those deficiencies, are they ready to drop it? Presently, the Northerners, they are saying no to restructure. They are saying no to this, no to that, no to this, no to that. And they are the one that is beneficiary of those abnormalities. They are the beneficiary of those abnormalities. So are they ready? Are they ready to release all those abnormalities? If they are ready, that is the first step.
let me come in. Okay,
Yeah.
see, when you say the North is the one that is benefiting, when you look at
Yeah.
the when you look at poverty in Nigeria, Nigeria recently was declared as the capital, the poverty capital of the world.
Yeah.
All right. So, but if you look at the people that are actually poor, like more than 70% of these poor people reside in the north. That is a fact. Okay. So if you say they are the ones that are benefiting from the contraption, then where do you put those people that are actually poor, which the north is the majority? All right. And when you're talking about the map, also, you're talking about the map, you're talking about the land scale. So I don't think there's much we can do. We cannot blame the North for being the North or for having the kind of land that they have. All right. Unless you want to blame the people that actually agree to divide the land the way they did. Even me, I don't agree with them, But what do you think when I say the majority of the poor people are in the north, and you are now saying, is it not countering your point of saying they are the ones that is benefiting from the current Nigeria?
No, no, not at all. I will explain. When you are talking about the north, the south, let me just put it in that way, the north and the south, apart from the abnormality in the creation or maybe that of the north and the south, we have common enemy, and which are the elite within those regions. The northern elite, the southern elite. Those one, their issue, we are coming to that. But why I'm saying the north are the beneficiary, they enjoy the greater part of Nigeria Commonwealth. They are the one enjoying it. I will tell you, if you let me cite an example. If you look at revenue generation in the total country, if you look at the derivation, if you look at allocation, if you look at the way all those things are being distributed, you will realize that majority of those wealth go to the north. As you have said, that the larger part of the land belongs to the north, and that is how the states were created. That is how the resources were being, allocated. Therefore, they are the majority, they are the one benefiting the major part of the Commonwealth. For instance, let me put this further again. Let's look at the Nigerian structure today. If you look at the political structure, majority belongs to the north. If you look at our infrastructure, most of those things, most of the things we create together, majority of them go to the north. So what are we now talking about? The way those people that handle the resources, the way they handle it does not matter in this case. As long as it has gone to the north, it has gone to the north. Either they are judiciously managed or not, but majority portion of Nigerian Commonwealth goes to the north. That is the fact. And they are the one that enjoy most of those things. Now, let me cite an example presently. Nearly every Nigerian from military, whatever, call it number 1 to 20, all those military head, the Navy, the Army, the Immigration, the DSS, the Police IG, virtually belongs to the North. What are we not talking about? Recently, there was a report that now position number 1 to 20 in NNPC belongs to the North. Position number 1 to 20 belong to the North. What are we talking about? NNPC. So what are we now talking about? Immigration, virtually everything. They are the head. And they contribute little or nothing to the economy. So what are we now talking about? So that is my point. They are the one benefiting the most. And that is why do you think or do you believe these people that enjoy virtually everything for free, are they going to relinquish all these things? Do you think they are going to surrender? That is the question. That is the problem. That is why it is very difficult to let you know that these people will not surrender. I will give you another example. S-men, we have been shouting about S-men, 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 S-men. Why will somebody graze on another person's farm? It's not even grass, it's not even bush. Another person's farm. You graze, you bring your own business to disturb another person's business. And this issue we have been talking, let these people, let them look for, either the ranching system or whatever. If you want to rear your animal or your cattle, create a particular place, stay in your domain, stay in those places and do your work, do your business there. What are they saying? They said land belongs to anybody. Nobody owns this, nobody do that. They are not ready. So I'm not very sure these people are ready, and they will not be ready to surrender what they have been enjoying for the past. I'm not very sure. So that is why it is very difficult now to talk about rebuilding Nigeria again.
Okay, so if you have come to all these things, if we say okay, rebuilding Nigeria is what is key, because look, just as we have these elites in the north who are mismanaging our resources, the same way we have them in the south. The same way in fact, all the regions, virtually all the local governments and states in Nigeria have these elites, and some of them we know. We know some of these people, these elites who are corrupt, who have been destroying the resources and mismanaging our resources. See, the only problem is that we haven't done anything about it. So gaining freedom or emancipation for the Oduduwa may not eliminate the elites who are also corrupt in the south. What are you going to do about that?
Yeah, thank you. I said earlier on that when the foundation destroyed, there's nothing the righteous can do. That is why we are clamoring for new beginning. This new beginning will usher in new development, new revolution, new system, new agenda, economic agenda, whatever agenda, everything will be new beginning. As I said during one of our discussions, I told you Nigeria is an experiment ground for us. We have learned a lot in this country called Nigeria. We know the source of our problems. We know the beginning of our problems. We know how this problem, spring up. So Nigeria was a learning ground for us to really know that what to be done in order to curtail, in order to bring this elite to check. Now, let me tell you this. When this nation, come on board, the Constitution, I say it again, the Constitution will be the backbone of this nation. If the Constitution is strong enough, all those government institutions have been empowered, not like in Nigeria whereby the judiciary is useless, every anti-graft agency, they are useless, the police is corrupt. Nearly, as you have said, virtually everybody, is corrupt. Why? Because the Constitution is not functioning, because the laws are not followed. All these things will be amended. All these things will be looked into. So the Constitution will be the bedrock of which this nation, will be given back to. The Constitution, if the Constitution is empowered, the Constitution will be adequately empowered. Everything will be enshrined in the law. Everything will be enshrined in the Constitution. Ways and manner, how to be governed, and every other thing will be stipulated. So everything will be followed to the letter.
Okay, so in this current constitution, why is it that it cannot be? I mean, it has gone through series of review, all right? And I understand the people. Some people say, okay, this constitution was drafted by the military. Okay, there was little or no contribution from the ordinary Nigerians, and I agree. So why is it that we can't sit down? I think there has been at least two confabs, all right? Where constitution was discussed. Yeah, and why is it that it is difficult for us to? I think what we should be discussing, for me personally, I think what we should be discussing is why is it that we cannot implement those confabs? All right, because I am still not convinced that if we have Oduduwa Republic, that
Yeah.
the current situations that we are experiencing in this current Nigeria, because it is people, we are not going to import people from China or from Ghana. It is still the same people. Okay, let's assume. Look, take an example of Ekiti State, where you come from. There have been governors who are sons of the soil. Look at Lagos. They are sons of the soil. Look at Oshun. They are sons of the soil who have been managing those states. Which of them would you say you are proud of? Even Lagos State, where people are saying it's a cosmopolitan state. If you haven't left Nigeria, you may be thinking you are proud of Nigeria or Lagos. But when you left Nigeria, you know that go into any of the, minimally developed countries, you will know that Lagos is nothing. It's a mess. And this is run by Yorubas. So how are you sure that we will also be able to manage Oduduwa?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I can tell you, I am very sure things will be better in Oduduwa than Nigeria. Yeah, those are the things I want to tell you. Now, if you look virtually to Nigeria, ethnicity, one of our problem, the Igbos, the Yorubas, the Hausas. When the Yorubas, when they are in power, whatever they do, if other tribes are criticizing, for us to see that these people are really trying, they are really saying what is okay. But because this is our tribe man, some people will like to shit them. Likewise, when it comes to Igbo, the same thing happen. When it comes to what is it called? The Hausas, the same thing happen. So people now believe when you are even saying the truth, because the person that is saying the truth is not from that tribe, others will be saying it's for political reason. Another person will ask you, who is bankrolling you? Who is sponsoring you? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? But in this new nation we are talking about, we are the same race. We understand ourselves. We know ourselves. When Legitiman talk, you won't say it's because he's Hausa. If Ogun State talk, you won't say it's because he's Igbo. All of us, we can reason. And look at this present Nigeria. There are a lot of things we will have solved. There are a lot of things we will have, settled or arrive at to bring development. But because of this ethnicity, some people, maybe for the reason best known to them, they may not like if reform is coming. They don't want it to come from the Yorubas. Other people, they don't want the reform to come from the Igbos. Other people, they don't even believe Hausa can give anything. So you can see conflict of interest. If a Yoruba man is talking, Igbo will be, a little bit conscious. Hope this man is not trying to gain a political advantage or something. If Hausa man is talking, the other tribe will be, a little bit conscious. Hope this man is not trying to do something to favor him or favor his tribe or whatever. But when we come to Oduduwa, we are of the same race. When Ekitiman is talking, Ogunman we understand, Yoruba from Kogi we understand, Yoruba from Kwara we understand, Yoruba from other region we understand ourselves. You are not when you talk, no one will be thinking maybe you want to take advantage of this, you want to take advantage of that. As I've told you, there are a lot of things we have learned in the present Nigeria, and those are the first thing we are going to issue. Those are the first thing we are going to deal with when we get this nation we are talking about. So that is
Okay.
it. Political differences, ethnicity differences, and all those things make it very difficult in this present Nigeria. Because when you talk, if somebody is talking from the south now, somebody from the north will be asking you, who is bankrolling you? Look at what is happening presently. When you are telling Buhari government is a failure, some people are saying it's because of this, it's because we are not, it's because they are opposition. I think you understand what I'm saying. So as a result of These political differences, ethnicity differences, all these things make it very difficult for us to really come to a term with each other in this present Nigeria.
Okay, I'll point out a loophole in that, especially in the point of ethnicity. In the early 2000s, when I moved to Lagos, many of the people from Osun, Kwara, who have been in Lagos for a very long time, when they would describe people like me who are from Ekiti, they will say Araoke, okay? Especially because we just came from our locality coming to the city of Lagos. They call you Araoke, and that happens everywhere. So there even within Ogun State alone, there are people who will say, I am Egba. I will not let my daughter or my son marry an Ijebu. In Ekiti, a lot of Ekiti parents, old people will not allow their children marry people from Ijebu. All right. Now, when you go to the south, the Biafras, there are people within the Igbo community who are referred to, they are discriminated against based on their tribe, based on their practices. I'm just trying to point out to you that we should work on our individual biases and stereotypes rather than this agitation. Even though we all have rights to say we want to be together, there should be freedom of association and freedom of exit. I quite understand that, but I'm just trying to reason. All right. So, what do you think about these biases and the stereotypes that exist among the individual tribes that you pointed out, or ethnic groups?
Thank you. Let me go back to clarify some things. There are some belief in those olden days, and those beliefs did not just come to existence for nothing. There are some events that happen that bring all those differences, that bring all those things then. You understand? There are some events that have taken place. All those events make us to be avoiding, or maybe to be, this and this. And so that's your Araiwoke that you said. It's virtually everybody. Just to tell you that you are just new. You are not, maybe you are not born in that particular Lagos. Because when I was in Lagos too, I was called Arauke. Even though by your speaking, by your intonation, everybody knows that you are just JJC. So as such, that I don't see that one as any problem. But what I'm telling you, even though if that occur, even though if that can come up, I've said it earlier on that the constitution will be the backbone of that Oduduwa if comes to be. Now you are asking if that one is not enough reason, all these things I've been talking, maybe it's not enough reason for you to think about this separation. But I want you to know this. Number one fundamental of any government is to provide security of life and property. That is number one fundamental function of any reasonable government, to provide security of life and property. But in Nigeria, Yoruba race, we are no longer safe. That is major reason I agree with anybody that come rain, come sunshine, I can lay my life for this Oduduwa Republic. If you are no longer safe, in the country we claim that this is one Nigeria, one Nigeria, one Nigeria, one Nigeria, and I'm not longer safe. It's not even in the north, it's not even in the east, it's not, but in my own land, somebody from another place want to take over my land. Somebody from another place want to kill me, want to subjugate me and take over my property. Do you want me to hold my hand and say, oh, No, we still continue to be one Nigeria. I can't agree with that. We have talked to them. These are the ways and manner we can resolve this issue. But they are not ready. But now, restructuring and rebuilding is too late. We want to go on our own. We want to stay on our own land. We want to live a peaceful life. We want to live in, we want to live in total security, whereby you can even open your window. You can even open your door. You could remember when you were growing up. At times there are some houses in those small village. Their doors you can even use your hand to push it away, and people are living. There's no fear. You open your door, no kidnapping, no banditry. Even though at times, oh, this is a good memory. You could remember some people after school hours, they can still trek up to 3, 4, 5, 6 kilometers to the forest, to the farm, to go and meet their parents. Nobody is afraid of kidnapping. Nobody is afraid of anything. You go. I could remember maybe a primary 2 or primary 3 pupils, they will still leave the school. They will still go to Ogbegbe. Far pushed. More than 3 kilometers, more than 4 kilometers to the city. Yet nobody is afraid. Nobody will even know any fear. But today, in your own home, in your own house, you are no longer safe. And these people that are perpetrating this evil, they are not even your kinsmen, they are not even your brothers. If they are your brother, you will know that these are enemy within. But these are outside people, killing, maybe even raping our women. What are we now talking about? Any government that cannot guarantee the security of life and property of its citizens is a failed government. So this government is a total failure. As such, I will never succumb to it. Oduduwa must come to be by God's grace.
Okay. I believe that the government should provide security for lives and property. This is a fundamental right, just like you've described it, and I totally agree with you. But when you also look at it, you look at it's not just in Oduduwa or in the Yoruba region that there has been some crisis. I think majority of the crisis that result to killing is happening in the north. It's happening in within the southern among the southern Kaduna people. You know, according to what we've heard recently. So I don't think there has been much of that happening within the Yoruba, environments that I've heard of, unless if you have some insights or information that you want to share, as regard to security of lives and property. I agree that there has been videos of herdsmen, taking their animals to go and eat on the farms. Okay, we've seen many videos both in the south and I mean both in the east and in the west. Okay, and I think it's also around Nigeria. Now, what if we change the government? Let's say Buhari is not functioning, Buhari is not performing. So why don't we just change the government legitimately, vote him out, and then vote somebody who might be able to deliver instead of dividing the country?
You have spoken well, my brother. That will have been an alternative. But the problem or the situation still remains the same. There are some people, they have an agenda. Either Buhari or not Buhari, they are the same people. If you could remember vividly, during the 2015 election, you could remember, you may not, maybe then you might have left Nigeria, but there are some kind of people that they were telling us that if this happen, they will make the country ungovernable. They will make everything, they will turn everything upside down, they will do this, they will do this, they will do that. I'm telling you, these people, they are the beneficiary of all these things that is happening. So they are not ready to surrender any of those things you are talking about. During Obasanjo, it was not easy. During Goodluck Jonathan, it was not easy. They have said it several times without number that Nigeria belongs to them. Even though some of them will even come out proudly to tell you that they are born to rule. Some of them will even still come to tell you that they are the Nigerians. Some of them will even tell you that, oh, the land belongs to them. So what we are saying, my brother, we have seen all those things. That is why I've been telling you, all these things have been happening for a very long period of time. When I was trying to tell you that we have a fundamental problem, we have, foundational problem. We did not even believe that what we are seeing now, we not even believe that they will be happening. But look at what is happening. 40 years ago, or 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago, could anybody think of what is happening presently in Nigeria? No. So if we have not envisaged all these things that are happening now in the past 10, 15 years back, now let us project what can happen in the nearest future. So these people, they have an agenda, and the agenda is to conquer. I read a particular article where somebody was, trying to buttress his point that Osman Danfodio said in that the Hausa Fulani, they will not relent until they get to the Atlantic Ocean and raise up their sword, and blood is coming. It is then they believe that the war has ended. Do you want us to wait until they get to the Atlantic Ocean? Do you want us to wait until they fulfill their mission? Now, in the past, we thought it was a joke. But look at the happenings now. Look at the events now. Events are gradually unfolding. If all these things we are saying now, if it has not happened in the past year, and now they are coming, then when people are saying all these things that are happening now, people are saying it was a lie. They are just trying to, they are trying to blackmail, or they are trying to portray certain tribe as evil, or this and that. But today, those things are coming, and they have been saying it then. Now they are saying more. So if we now take what they are saying now as just a joke, that means we are the ones that are not serious. That means we don't know what we are doing. If somebody have told you 10 years ago that he's going to take your land, and you thought the person was joking, today the person has taken part of your land and is still telling you he's ready to take more, you still believe that that person is joking. My brother, these people, they have agenda, and that agenda, they will not relent until they achieve that agenda. And that is one of the major reasons we need to separate from these people.
Okay. Now, you said that there is an agenda, and I have actually challenged somebody, somebody who is a member of the Biafra, on this particular platform, I think about a week ago. And I called him, I referred to him, I asked for permission to refer to him as a conspiracy theorist. So I think I'm going to be referring to you too as a conspiracy theorist. And the reason is this. It's because we don't have proof that, okay, there is a Fulani agenda to conquer Nigeria. We heard of the story about Uthman Fodio saying they want to conquer Nigeria. Yeah, there was a time in the world, all over the world, where each country or small community was going on rampage and conquering the other ones. But I don't think we're in the 21st century. I don't think it's going to happen. Why do we need to fear?
Okay, can I respond to your question?
Yeah.
I said earlier on that there are some things that have been said in the past. As you have said that this is conspiracy, all this conspiracy theory or whatever. That is what people thought then. But today, they are manifesting. There is killing in Southern Kaduna. After the killing, what happened? After the killing, what happened? What is the response of the government? Nothing. Now, let me ask you this question. We have been hearing killing here and there, killing here and there, herdsmen killing, bandits. Have you heard anybody being prosecuted? Have you heard any conflict being bring out? But today, if somebody kill Fulani herdsmen, the police, under 24 hours, they will get that person. They will get hold of that person and the person will be charged to court. But today, there is trouble in Southern Kaduna. Up to today, nothing has been done. There are killing in Benue. Up to today, nothing has been done. In Plateau, up to today, nothing has been done. Do you want to tell me that this government is not aware of all those things? Or do you want to tell me that those our police, those our military that have been fighting Boko Haram for the past years, do you want to tell me that they have not really done anything? Or do you want to tell me that they have not really, apprehended anybody? Look at this. Terrorists were captured. Instead, they were pardoned, rehabilitated, given so many comfortable, giving so. They were treated like kings. They were treated even more. The terrorists that were captured were treated like kings, whereas the victim, they are still in the IDP camp up to today. What are we now talking about? This is how we have been saying there is conspiracy theory, but in our own eyes, they are coming. Okay, now you are saying there's no proof. Somebody comes to your compound, kill someone, rape your wife, kill your children, and you are still telling me it's conspiracy theory. No, I will not believe that. If it is conspiracy theory, now let me ask you this question. Why is it so very difficult in Nigeria for somebody operating his own business to provide environment, to provide facility for his own business? In your own business, how did you get your own facility for your business? Is it so difficult for these herdsmen to get ranch? Is it so difficult for them to get grazing land? Is it so difficult for them to get that? Now, let me tell you this. If it is so difficult for them, now some people will say they are the one producing food, they are the one producing this, they are the one. How do they produce those things? Why can't they use the same system to provide ration for themselves? If they cannot do it individually, why can't they come together?
But the Buhari government want to provide ranching for them through the what is that law, Ruga, and people protested.
Now, people protested. Now, you are talking about conspiracy theory now. People protested. They come by, what is it called? Gracie Colony. We rejected. Now they are coming again with water bill. Why? If there is nothing so strange, why is it so difficult for herdsmen to provide grazing land by themselves? I am a farmer. Did the government get me my own land? I farm. I use my money. I'm a business person. You are a business person. Did you ask the government to provide the premises of your business for you? Don't you know you acquire your own, facility for your business? That is their business. They should look for how to get the facility for their business. Look at the advanced country. There are ways of rearing animals. So why is it so difficult for us in Nigeria for them to abide? Why is it so difficult? Why are we backward in everything? Why are we so backward in everything? So my brother, if others can be doing all these things without inconveniencing others, they too should try to do so. They should emulate those people. We should try to emulate good things. It is not a force. It's not by force that cattle must move all over the street. There was a particular year in Abuja Metropolis, cattle moving up and down on highways. So it is ridiculous. It's very, very barbaric. They were saying it was cattle route. Since when? You are talking about cattle route, grazing route in 1920, 1930, 1940. You are still saying the same cattle route in 21st century. Which nonsense is that? My brother, if you want to be a farmer, get your facility by yourself. You don't need, I should not surrender my facility for you for your own business. If you're a business person, purchase, get your facility, get it, get it, get it, get it, my brother. If you are saying it, if you are saying it is a conspiracy theory,
I
if you are
think
saying it is a conspiracy,
somebody is supporting you here, saying that beyond the current and the past issues, the major problem is that Nigeria remains the only nation whose citizens don't speak the same language. Tell me another country, and I will stop supporting Yoruba nation. Okay, I'll tell you one
God
country like
bless you, my
that.
brother. God bless you, my brother. That one is another problem that is giving us confusion.
I tell
Our
you a
own
country
language,
that
our own
I tell
language is
you.
going into extinction. It's going, it's fading out. It's just because of this thing. I cannot meet a Nigerian. I cannot meet a Nigerian and have a common language to speak. I can't meet a Nigerian. Here,
We
where I
have
am now, when you say you are a Nigerian, somebody was saying, what is our common language? No one. Nothing. We
we
don't have
have
common language.
we have English as a common language,
English is not my
and
language. English is not my
okay,
language. I am a Yoruba
okay,
man. I am a
okay,
Yoruba
I agree.
man. I am a Nigerian. So I'm not, my brother, we don't have a common language. Now,
I
I say,
agree. I agree.
what are we not talking about?
Okay,
What I'm just saying, let me land, my brother. What I'm saying to
okay,
you now is this. If these people, they are business conscious, they are business minded, they should provide land, they should find a way of getting their grazing land. They should find a way of constraining their animal to the given environment. You can't just, I am a farmer, I have maybe 10, 15 hectares of a farm. Somebody will just, they don't even care. Their uncare attitude is another thing. They don't even care. Somebody will just bring animal to your farm, and when you challenge them, they will tell you, I will kill you. They will tell you that I will kill you. Somebody is threatening you on your own land, not even ordinary land, not even bush, on a farm land. It's very, very barbaric. Okay, now you said you have not heard it. Baba Fasoroti, can you remember the daughter? Olufalaye was attacked in his own farm of recent in Okeogun in Oyo State. Husband and wife, the fiancé was killed, and the woman was raped by these Fulani herdsmen. What are we now talking about? Are you now saying we should wait until these people take over our land? Do you now say we should wait until these people eradicate our race? I will never. I will prefer to die as an hero fighting for Oduduwa than to die as a slave in Nigeria. I will prefer to die as an hero fighting for Oduduwa than to die as a slave in Nigeria. So let's forget about this. There is no going
okay,
back.
okay. Now let me tell you this. As per the need to, I mean, the question of Adeni, he said we should tell him a nation that did not have a uniform language, and I'm telling you that India does not have a uniform language. Okay, India is the only problem, the only situation. I mean, the only difference between India and Nigeria is that they have what they call like union. They operate a union system. So they are independent. They have boundary to some extent. Okay. So there are people in the south who don't speak Hindi at all. All right. Meanwhile, Hindi is their official language. Hindi and then followed by English. Those people they have their own official language. In each of the states, they have their own official language, which is different from English, different from Hindi sometimes. So this is I'm just responding to Adedi, who said there's no other country, and I'm saying that I have experienced India, and I'm sure that they don't, even though they have issues, they have challenges, which may not necessarily be as a result of the language. Okay, so that's for that. But I'll go to the next question because our time is running out.
Okay.
Okay, so my next question to you is briefly, just in 1 minute, tell us what is in it for the Yoruba people? What are the Yoruba people going to benefit?
We are going to benefit a lot. I've told you, we have human resources, we have natural resources, we have so many things. We are endowed. Thank God you said some things to me that you are being proud because of those things. We are. Most of those things you sent to me, if you look at it critically, by the time this country is being actualized, you will discover that the majority of those population belongs to us. We have the human resources, we have the natural resources, we have the brains are there. You know, the security will be there. We have a lot availability of job opportunity. We go back to the base, we go back to the foundation. There are a lot of things we have lost as as a race. We bring those value. I was telling you today that money is not the number one of our value. We are rich in culture, we are rich in so many things that this so-called Nigeria has really taken away from us. So we have a lot to benefit. Job opportunity, we have, you know, let us look at that old western region. Look at the rate of development. Look at the rate we are going. Look at the pace we are going there. Until this their unitary system of government came into being and everything was destroyed. And that is why we are still here. So we have a lot to benefit. We have a lot. We have the human resources, we have the natural resources. We are so blessed. Yoruba race, we are so blessed. Talk about everything, anything, we are blessed. And I'm very sure if you can look at it critically, you will know that we have more to benefit in Oduduwa than in Nigeria.
Okay, so Neil is saying that I shouldn't mention India because he doesn't believe that India probably has a common language. But I think India does not have a common language as far as I'm concerned. Because there are people in India whom in the whole of their state or region did not speak Hindi at all. And Hindi is the official language in India. So, and their culture and the way of life is also different to some extent. All right. So that's we may not. I agree with you. You look at some of these small European countries. Some of them don't even have up to 6 million in population. Yet they are a nation of their own. But then,
Yeah.
yeah, see the problem with this with achieving Oduduwa Republic or Biafra Republic. Look at the number of people that have been killed among people that are fighting for Oduduwa. I mean for Biafra. Look at the number of
Yeah.
people. So are we the Yoruba people? Are we ready to sacrifice like this? Look at what they did to Nnamdi Kanu, how they rubbish him. As it is now, if Nnamdi Kanu return to Nigeria, he will be in jail.
Thank you,
Do
my
you understand?
brother.
So
Thank you,
are
my
we
brother.
ready? Are we
We
ready? Because
we
I think
we
the current Nigerian constitution is contrary to that, doesn't allow for separation or secession.
my brother, we are ready. Kudos to Baba Akintoye, the leader of Yoruba World Congress. He said it that Yoruba will leave Nigeria without shedding blood. We are intellectuals. We understand laws. We know our right from our left. We know which way to follow to get what we want. And that is why people believe that Yorubas, they are coward. We are not coward, but we don't fight a battle we will not win. It has started. It has started. Thank God we are Yoruba man. They call us coward. We are not a coward, but we don't fight a battle we will not win. So we are taking legal procedure. Everything will be done according to the law. We are not going to do anything outside the law. So we are going to follow everything according to the laid down rules and regulations. And that is why the Yoruba nation has been admitted into that UNPO organization. So as such, that is the starting point. And that is why we are coming out October 1st to come out to make a rally. We want we want people to know that we are tired of being in Nigeria. We are tired. We want to go on our way. We are peace-loving people. We are peace-loving race. That is why we have been taking everything, like everything, step by step. We don't want bloodshed at all. We are not ready to shed any blood. That is why we are coming on every Yoruba man or woman, wherever you are, October 4th. Try as much as possible. Come out for this rally. We are not fighting anybody. We are not fighting. We are not doing anything that is against the law. It's our fundamental human right. It's our right. We have right.
Wait, let's listen to Niyi. Hello, Niyi, we can hear you.
Am I live?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I'm live.
Yes.
Hey, this is what I'm now on CNN. Let me first of all say kudos to you, to the UAB for doing this thing. I must confess that I'm always proud of you. I'm always proud of all your initiatives.
Thank you, bro.
And I'm let me just say I'm proud of you. I think I've once told you that.
Yeah, you did.
And then I must say that to your face again that you are doing a good job.
Thank you.
The likes of you figure out you can grow up. So I don't like likes of you and Sukomi and the other guys, and all of you guys. I must commend you for what you are doing. It's
Thank you. Thank you.
Now,
very, very briefly, I understand why you are of the opinion that India, though that is just to digress a little bit, which is not the main topic. I'm still going to come back to the issue and address it. But very quickly, I know why you are saying India does not have one language. Of course, they have different languages. They were once like an empire before they split and all of that. But you have the Punjabis, you have all of them like that. But there is one particular language that India, Pakistan, all of them, they were once India kingdom together before. There is one particular language they still speak today. Evidence of that is that I have different India guys in my work, where I work. Some are Punjabi, majority of them Punjabi, and the ones are not. Those Punjabi, their own language, that when they are speaking it, the other India guy does not understand them. But there is one to speak, that all of them, the guy, whenever he wants to talk to them, he speaks to them in that different language, and those other ones respond. And I've had to ask him, come to all, they understand your own, and you don't understand. And the guy told me that is the main language that connects internet together. But if that has made, that's not the issue on the ground. Initially, I never wanted to support all these applications for splitting and all of that. I think I will first of all like to say, I will want to apologize to the Igbo, because for so long I've not even supported them. Not that I don't support moving away. Of course, freedom is natural. People want for freedom. There's no crime in seeking to be free. I'm not against people trying to go, but the manner and the approach is what I've always been against. Just like when Showora was talking about revolution, bloody revolution, which me and you have actually addressed at the point in time. I am not against people yearning for change. I'm not against people yearning for freedom. But I'm an advocate of peaceful achievement of whatever aspiration we have. Okay? So that is why for Igbos, because of the way they were being violent about it, that is probably one of the reasons I personally never wanted to support them. But now, I see that Nigeria can make a headway. If you like, put a Yoruba man there tomorrow, Hausa will give you a problem.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Tomorrow, give him a problem. Hausa will give him a problem. We are not too big to be one. Trust me, we are not too big a country. We are not overtly large a country. We are not overtly populated a country to be one. We are not as much as the United States of America in terms of population. We are not as much as China in terms of population. We are not as even much as I think India in terms of population. So our population is supposed to be a blessing, so to speak. But because we do not speak one language, we don't have one mind. A country divided against itself, a nation divided against itself cannot move forward. That is the problem with Nigeria. And that is why when Buhari came in, we were looking at him as a messiah. He will not be a messiah because there is always a peculiar and a sentimental objective of anybody that comes into power. Yeah. Forget about that when he was there. I don't want to go into that. So for me, if the Yoruba nation is not going to be achievable, they should go back to what were before the introductory government. When we were in Western region, we were doing fantastically well. Yes. We were the pace setter in almost all facets of our social economic life. We were the pace setter. It was when we now introduced this unitary of a thing that everything just scattered. So if they cannot give us a Yoruba nation, let us go back. I am supporting
the Yoruba nation.
Break entirely. But I know that if at all we cannot even break, if we can get back to our regional system of government, we will do better for Yoruba people.
Okay.
We have potentials. We have the potentials. We have the resources in both human and material to be what we were destined to be initially before the introduction of this unitary system of government. See, there's no beating about the bush, Abi. It is what we know. Cows are more precious. Cows are more precious than Yoruba life. If you don't know that, yes. That is a fact that you must know. Cattle's life are precious than Yoruba life today. Cattle's life are more precious than Igbo life today in Nigeria. So we can't continue like that. It is barbaric. We are not people to play second fiddle to their bookies. We are more enlightened. Every sense of modesty, respect, and dignity for our Aboki people. But we are more enlightened. We are more educated. We are more exposed. For us to now agree to play second fiddle. No, enough. I support the body.
Thank you so much, me. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you for calling. I really appreciate it.
Good.
Thank you. Well done.
All right, thank you. Now, bro, Nii has said so many things there, and I agree with a few of those things that he has mentioned, but there's still a fundamental issue, all right? And that is the fact that he also agreed, he alluded to the fact that our population is supposed to be a blessing. Our diversity is supposed to be a blessing, all right? But the challenge remains that if we cannot manage it now, we may not be able to manage it even if we have Yoruba or Oduduwa or Biafra and all of that. But then moving away from that, because we are going to round up very shortly. Normally, we don't want it to be more than 1 hour, and it's already more than 1 hour now. We are considering those who will be watching this later. So I have a question here, and I wrote it as such, that you should tell us about the October 1st protest, all right? And how are you sure that this current constitution, the current government, will not brutalize anybody that tries, even the people that are the revolution now people? They cannot guarantee the lives of anybody. You've seen videos of people who have gone out to just protest with only paper. With only paper. They don't have sticks. I mean, paper cannot injure anybody, right? Yet, police arrested them. So how can you guarantee that? And I've seen people even saying, okay, Tell us about the Oduduwa first of all, and then I'll tell you briefly about one other thing that I would like to say.
Constitutionally, let me start by saying, constitutionally, is our right. We have freedom of gathering, we have freedom of association, we have freedom. It's our constitutional right. It's one of our fundamental rights. So it is not a protest as people think. It is just a rally, creating an awareness that Yoruba people are tired. We are tired of this country called Nigeria. And that is why, because of this security issue, I think presently they have not really resolved, but presently they are trying to gather at they are trying to gather in Ibadan. Everybody should gather in Ibadan so that the security, the Yoruba World Congress will be able to provide security, because they have written to the all the state governors in Southwest. They have written to the police commissioner in those states. They have even written to, I think, either the IG or whatever. Every security apparatus that need to be aware of it, they have been properly informed. And that is why they want to hold it in a particular place so that everybody will know that everybody, we are here. So everything that happens there, we will be able to monitor. Because of this agitation of they say some people like it, some people, they don't like it. So as such, we don't want those people that are against it to perpetrate evil, to cause violence, and they are now saying it is Yoruba agitation that caused problem. From there now, another thing will happen. So as such now, presently, the plan is for all Yorubas to gather together in Ibadan for the rally, and it's a very peaceful one. It's a peaceful one. Don't take anything, just go there peacefully, and that is the arrangement for now.
Okay, thank you so much. I would want to also ask this one. Maybe this will be my okay. I probably have one more. I just want you to take a few seconds to answer this one. There are Yoruba people in Kwara State, which is regarded as a northern state. There are Yoruba people in Kogi State, which are Yoruba speaking people. Okay, I know people personally who are like a family member to me, as in we've come a long way. So, what is the plan for those people? Because they are in the north according to the distribution of the states.
Thank you, my brother. They are part of Yoruba. Presently, as a result of this Yoruba agitation now, do you know that the National Assembly, they are now asking for people to come for constitutional review? And presently, the Yorubas in Kogi, they have sent their memo to the National Assembly, praying to the National Assembly to cut them out. The Kwaras too, they are saying they should take them back to their origin, the Southwest. So if this constitutional review now, if it is, if it's going to work, definitely those things will be, attended to. I think those ones will be looked into, because those two people, they are even agitating, or they are making a suggestion that maybe they should give them states together, the Yoruba speaking in Kogi and the Yoruba speaking in Kwara. Maybe they should, band them together. But both of them have written to the National Assembly that, please, National Assembly, take us back to our origin. So those ones have been addressed. And this struggle, the Kogis, they are there. The Yorubas in Kogis, they are there. And the Yorubas in the Kwara, they are there. Presently, if you go to Jeba, you will see a signboard there. This is Yoruba land.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I'm going to mention a few things, and I'm going to conclude with this. All right. And I've written down on my note here that these are major factors that are confronting the current Nigeria. And they would also, I presume that they would also be a major issue for the whether Yoruba or Biafra or Oduduwa nation. Okay, and the number one on my list is division among our Yoruba leaders. Okay, and it's almost visible. All right, there's division, and we cannot deny it, whether political or whatever beefing that is, it's valid. All right, there is corruption. There is corruption everywhere in Nigeria, including among the Yorubas, including among the Yoruba states. Their allocations have been coming from the central to the states, Ekiti, Ondo, Osun, Kwara, and Lagos State. Okay, the Kwara is not currently in the southwest. Okay, so but allocations have been coming, and there's no account as to where those money have gone. Okay, that corruption is valid. And then there is the pursuit for individual successes. And I'm made bold to say this, that we celebrate individual successes in Nigeria, not only in Yoruba, among Yorubas. We celebrate, oh, this is my house, right? This is me. You don't know who I am. Everybody, almost virtually anybody in Nigeria, if somebody that have just small money, if you stop them on the way and say, you don't know who you are talking to. Do you know me? Do you know who I am? So it's because there's something about us and the individuality rather than fighting for collectivity. That's why you see some people, a lot of people actually are going to extra lengths to make sure that this protest does not happen. Okay, and some of them are even Yoruba people. Now, the last one is the Nigerian Constitution. The Nigerian Constitution and this administration of Buhari, which is a well, I want to say maybe it's a no-nonsense. No-nonsense, especially when it comes to something that is not favoring his government. So how do we undo all these things? This is my last question.
Yeah, I told you that the foundation is very, very important in everything. The fundamental problem, another fundamental problem with all these things is that politics is so lucrative in Nigeria. And that is why you see everybody trying to be president, you see everybody want to be governor, you see everybody want to go to House of a Rep. Because of governance, the politics is a business in Nigeria. Therefore, we need to make sure that we reduce politics to nothing. We will not make politics to be lucrative anymore. It is because politics is lucrative. That is why you see people want to kill themselves. We have not seen politics, we have not seen political leader as a place of service. We only see it as a place where we enrich ourselves. Where when I become a senator, people will respect me, people will value me, I will be getting. Look at the money spending on senators, look at all those. The cost of governance in Nigeria is too much. So we need to make politics something that is part-time. We will render it useless to the extent that when you are going to serve, you know that you are going there for service, not for any gain. You will know that too much Nigerian politics is too lucrative. That is why there was a day in my church, they asked somebody in a program like this, can you tell us what do you do for a living? He said, I'm a politician. When did politics become a profession? So when does politics, because what somebody do for a living? So politics is too lucrative. So in Oduduwa, we will make it less, it's just be a position of service to the humanity, to your people. That is one about corruption. Government institution that fight against corruption will be strengthened. Thank God, this question, whatever. Some people now they are talking that it's because we use Bible and Quran. That is why people are not afraid. But by the time they ask you to use Shango, to use Chokola, to use Ogun, try it. We have no. Let us be frank. We are talking. We are saying something. So it's because you believe that our God is a merciful God. But by the time they ask you to use Shango, to use Shakona, to use Ogun, so what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of ways to combat or to fight poverty, corruption. So we need to make sure that government institutions that deal with all those things are being, strengthened. We make our judiciary to be very, very strong. We make virtually all government, institutions to be very strong, so that when the government institutions are strong, they will work effectively, they will work efficiently, they will work, and now we are talking about corruption. Since they have been fighting corruption in Nigeria, tell me what they have really achieved. Nothing. Today they jail you, tomorrow they release you. Today somebody that has stolen 20 billion, they ask him to pay 100 million. Is that a punishment? So the punishment for corruption is so lenient that some people will even ready to go to jail for 1 year. Some people will even ready to loot so much, so that by the time they loot, they just tell you, after all, they just sentence me to 1 year imprisonment, or they just tell me to pay some money back after and back. As you have said that people celebrate corruption, people celebrate whatever. That is not part of our culture. So we will now go back to our base. We go back to the foundation. We retrace our step. We look at where we are falling. We make an amendment. We go back to our root. We are Yoruba. Omoluabi ni wa. We are Yorubas. We have, we have culture. We have way of life. Money is either number 3 or 4 in our value system. So money is not number 1 on Yoruba value in our value system. So we will go back to the base. We go back to the origin. We retrace our step and we go back to our norms and value. From there, we start again, and I believe we move ahead.
All right. So this is going to be the end of it. Thank you so much for coming. But I'm just going to give you 1 more minute, please. One more minute maximum, just in case there's something you want to say that I haven't really talked about. Please feel free. 1 minute.
There's nothing to be said again than just to encourage other people to join this struggle. We need to liberate ourselves. We need this freedom. From there, our peace lie. From there, our success lie. From there, our greatness lie. Please, whosoever that listen to this, to this episode, try as much as possible. Do your best to liberate the Yorubas. Do your best. Spread the news and let people know that it is time for us to get our freedom. God bless you all. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much. Viewers, this is the Opinion Sharers. And if you are just joining us, we are winding up right now. So you can go back and watch it after the end of the show. And we are available on YouTube. Please do subscribe to our channel. This is very, very important. And you can reach out through our email, which is opinionsharers99@gmail.com. And you can also drop an inbox in case there's something you want to share. If you think you have a strong opinion, you want to share, you want the world to hear it, please do reach out to us. Thank you so much. All right, boss, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, my brother. Yeah.